Take a look around. This is some of the hottest, bleakest terrain on the planet. Summer temperatures here can reach over 125 degrees Fahrenheit, where unprotected humans can dehydrate and die in a matter of hours. It's the last place on Earth you'd expect to find any water at all, let alone a huge inland sea. This is the land of the Salton Sea in the desert of Southern California. An amazing 35 miles long and 15 miles across. Little known, largely ignored and misunderstood, this desert ecosystem is critical to hundreds of species, and it's in a lot of trouble. The Salton Sea and its drainage are located in the desert of Southern California. The Mojave Desert lies to the north, and to the south, the Sonoran Desert. The Salton Sea is in the area of San Diego, the Imperial Valley, and the Gulf of California. The Salton Sea is home to hundreds of species. It's a place of unimaginable biodiversity, and it faces almost certain destruction unless something is done, and quickly. The Salton Sink is a low-lying area nestled between the San Jacinto Fault Zone to the west and the San Andreas Fault Zone to the east. The Salton Sink itself is an amazing 280 feet below sea level. Even the surface of the sea is 227 feet below sea level. Here in this animation we see the ancient Gulf of California. At the present-day Yuma, Arizona, the Colorado River entered the Gulf. During those days, the Gulf of California extended all the way up to the present-day Indio, California, which is very near the town of Palm Springs. At the delta of the Colorado River, silt was deposited, and throughout the years that silt closed off the Gulf of California, leaving only a desert lake to the north, which is the present area of the Salton Sea. As years went by, that sea dried up, having no water coming into it. It became once again a bleak desert. But in true form, the Colorado River flowed on. At that point, Yuma, Arizona, and the Gulf of California, as now, were some 70 miles apart. But the Colorado River, once again, changed its course to the north, no longer entering the Gulf of California, but entering the Salton Sink, building another huge lake as it had before. As the lake filled up, it actually began to spill over, and a new channel was dug from that lake, that inland sea, back to the Gulf of California. That lake was called Lake Cahuilla. Once again, the Colorado River shifted, as it did many times in history, flowing back to the south and abandoning the Salton Sink area. Once again, the lake dried up. The Salton Sink was inhabited by scores of Native Americans and first explored by the early Spanish explorers, but in 1850, gold was discovered west of here in California. The gold fever hit hard, and the rush to California and the riches that just lie waiting to be gathered up convinced some hardy souls that waiting for the snows to clear to take the safer northern route was not acceptable. Many tried the southern route through the Salton Trough. Some made it, and many didn't. By the late 1800s, it was clear that the entire area of the Salton Trough could become an agricultural paradise. With green fields and workers, it could be an amazing place, as it is today. But what was missing was water. There simply wasn't any. It was with this in mind that the California Development Company set about a grand scheme to bring water to the desert. Canals were dug diverting Colorado River water to the Salton Trough, Shares of water were sold, and the desert began to bloom into an incredible agricultural community. Then, the unexpected. The Colorado River had some high record stream flows, and the amazing amount of silt the Colorado carries clogged the Foundling canal systems. The danger of losing their entire investment hung over the California Development Company. Their attempt at digging a new canal was thwarted by the Colorado, and between 1905 and 1907 the full force of the Colorado River entered the Salton Basin. The current Salton Sea was created. And so, the latest incarnation of the Salton Sea had begun. Towns sprung up around it. Nobody believed it would last. After all, there was no Colorado River to fill it anymore since the dikes were repaired in 1907. It was estimated that the sea would be gone by 1923. Well, it wasn't. The increased runoff from irrigation sustained the levels of the sea, and it remains with us today. But now, with decreased stream flow from the Colorado River, the salinity of the Salton Sea continues to rise, already 25% higher than the Pacific Ocean. If this continues, within 10 years, most of the life surrounding the Salton Sea will be gone. The Salton Sea is America's most southern stop off of the Pacific Flyway. Over 2/3 of all species of birds in America winter or stop off at the Salton Sea. Its loss would be an ecological tragedy for birds that frequent not only the West Coast, but all over the U.S., Canada, South America, and Mexico. This map shows areas of the northern hemisphere where birds tagged at the Salton Sea have been spotted. The elimination of this critical wetland could be devastating to bird populations. The Salton Sea is a critical habitat. Many other animals of the Salton Sea are endangered. The tilapia, a popular game fish, will die to the tune of 90 million. And so, as if to add insult to injury, the playa, or lake bed, has trapped and sealed off dust and agricultural chemicals not only from the water, but from the atmosphere. Should this sea evaporate, the exposed lake bed would be whipped into clouds of chemical-laden dust, destroying air quality, threatening health, and degrading the billion-dollar-a-year tourist and golf industry in the Palm Springs area. But what man has created, so can he destroy. In this case, the accidental creation of the Salton Sea has created a priceless environment for people and for animals. The waters that travel from here, the Imperial Diversion Dam near Yuma, that eventually end up in the Salton Sea, are increasingly being diverted to urban areas. And the Salton Sea, its recreational opportunities, and its animal life will pay the ultimate price. Once a recreational hotspot, the Salton Sea and all of its possibilities for future recreation are slowly slipping away from us. This year, the California state government, in cooperation with state and federal agencies, are supposed to propose a plan for the rescue of the Salton Sea. But whatever plan they come up with may be too little, too late, to rescue the dying sea. If this effort is not able to cut through the red tape and begin without delay, scenes like these may never again be seen in the Salton Sea. California is famous for its gold rush of 1849, but the newest gold, the gold that will make or break California and the southwestern United States, is not a metal. The new gold is water.